Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when a decision must be made, not just to act, but to believe, not to hope, not to wish, but to believe as if anything is possible. Belief in its highest form is not a passing thought or a hopeful feeling. It is a command issued by the mind to the world. It is a decree of certainty that refuses to be ignored. When belief becomes definite, it no longer wavers with the winds of opinion or the changing tides of circumstance. It becomes law, your own internal law, which you obey without question and which shapes the very reality around you. Definiteness of belief is not a soft or vague thing. It is sharp, it is focused. It knows exactly what it wants, and it will accept nothing less. A definite belief is not concerned with how things look or what the odds say. It doesn't seek approval. It does not ask for permission. It simply is, unshakable, unstoppable, absolute. Most people believe, but they do so generally. They believe things might get better. They believe someday their dreams could come true. But general belief produces general results. Scattered, inconsistent, and weak. The man or woman who decides what they want with crystal clarity and then believes in it with full conviction has already separated themselves from the masses. Because the world bends to those who are certain. Certainty creates motion. It pulls opportunities out of places that once looked barren. It attracts the right people, the right timing, the right doors. Why? Because when you believe without hesitation, you act without hesitation. And when your actions are clear, bold, and relentless, the world cannot help but respond. Definiteness of belief means you have resolved within yourself that this will happen. Not if, not maybe, but when. You carry it in your posture, in your tone, in your decisions. You no longer move with doubt in your step or excuses on your lips. You become aligned, mind, body, and spirit, toward one unshakable aim. And this definiteness becomes your compass. When distractions appear, it keeps you focused. When failures strike, it keeps you grounded. When fear rises, it keeps you moving. Because your belief is not up for negotiation. It is not being reevaluated daily. It is not fragile. It is firm, like bedrock under your feet. Faith is the foundation of all achievement. 500 words before a single stone is laid, before a tool is lifted, before a word is spoken to the world. Faith begins the work. Every great achievement, whether seen in the eyes of man or the legacy of time, was first born in the unseen realm of belief. It is faith, and faith alone, that lays the foundation upon which all enduring success is built. Faith is not blind. It is not naive. It is not the idle hope of the unprepared. Faith is vision. Faith is certainty. Faith is the internal blueprint drawn with absolute clarity, long before the structure rises into view. It is the conviction that what you hold in your mind can and will become real, even when no evidence yet exists to support it. The individual without faith is like a builder without plans, reactive, unfocused, easily swayed by every external condition. But the one who carries faith moves differently. They walk through the valley of doubt with their head held high. They hear the voices of critics and keep going. They see the obstacles ahead, but their eyes stay fixed on the invisible form of what is yet to be. Because faith does not ask how long will it take. It declares, however long it takes, I will endure. The moment you allow faith to take root in your mind, you ignite a power that transcends logic. You awaken something deeper than reason, something more potent than skill or education or talent. Because faith calls forth the will to persist when all signs tell you to quit. It gives you the courage to leap when fear says wait. It pushes your hand to build when others say it's too late. You cannot borrow faith. You cannot fake it. It must be cultivated. It must be forged in silence, when no one is watching, and when results are slow to arrive. Faith is not proven when things are easy. It is proven when everything seems to be working against you. That is when the foundation is laid. When you choose to trust your vision more than your circumstances. Faith sees beyond the physical. Where others see failure, faith sees the lesson. Where others stop at rejection, faith steps forward again. Where others collapse under pressure, faith finds strength and purpose. This is not by accident. Faith is trained like a muscle, through repetition, through decision, through hardship, and with every trial it becomes more certain, more defiant, more immovable. Faith makes the impossible bend. It turns ordinary men into legends. It takes dreams scribbled on napkins and carves them into mountains. Faith leads, not by demanding the path be easy, but by promising that the path is worth it. It does not remove the burden, but it makes the burden worth carrying. And in time, the world comes to respect the one who never doubted, not because they were lucky, but because they were faithful to the outcome they saw long before anyone else did. There comes a time in every pursuit when hesitation becomes a greater threat than failure, a moment when progress demands a sacrifice, not of effort, not of time, but of uncertainty. That sacrifice is doubt. If you intend to succeed, you must burn the bridge to doubt and never look back. Doubt is not caution. Doubt is not strategy. Doubt is the quiet voice that undermines greatness in the dead of night. It is the whisper that says you are not ready, that your dream is too big, that you should wait, play small, or lower your sights. Doubt doesn't shout. It erodes, slowly, silently. It eats away at resolve until boldness becomes hesitation, until purpose becomes paralysis. Every man or woman who has ever changed the course of their life or the world has faced that bridge. Behind them, comfort, safety, familiarity. Ahead, a future not yet built, not yet proven, and in between, doubt. And in that moment, the great ones strike a match and set fire to retreat. They make a decision so final, so absolute, that turning back is no longer an option. You cannot pursue a vision while carrying a backup plan for your confidence. If you keep one hand on your dream and the other on your excuses, you will split yourself in half. You must go all in, fully committed, fully convinced, fully resolved, because doubt does not simply delay success, it destroys it before it ever begins. To burn the bridge is to say, I will succeed or I will die trying, but I will not crawl back to a life of hesitation. It is to look at your former self, the one who overthinks, who needs approval, who second guesses, and say, you no longer have power here. That version of you must die, because it cannot build what you are about to create. This is not recklessness. This is resolve. The world does not reward the lukewarm. It does not open doors for the half-convinced. The opportunities you are seeking will not present themselves to a person standing in the shadow of doubt. They appear when you move with clarity, when your steps say, I am certain, I am prepared, I am willing to pay the price. Burning the bridge to doubt means you are not waiting for signs. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for proof that it will work. You become the proof. You become the reason. You become the one who made a decision so strong, so rooted, that nothing could uproot it. Not failure, not criticism, not delay, not fear. The bridge to doubt is always easy to cross. It's paved. It's familiar. It's filled with every excuse the world will accept. But the moment you return to it, you give away your power. You tell the universe you're not serious. You tell your dream it must wait. You tell your future self that fear was more persuasive than purpose. Everything that exists today, every invention, every structure, every achievement ever etched into the story of humanity, was once nothing more than a thought, a whisper in the mind, a fragment of vision seen not by the world, but by one individual bold enough to believe in what didn't yet exist. That is the power of imagination. And it is in this sacred space, this private chamber of the mind, where all possibility is born. Imagination is not child's play. It is not daydreaming, and it is not escape. It is the architect's sketch before the foundation is poured. It is the general's strategy before the battle is fought. It is the entrepreneur's vision before the first sale is made. Imagination is the workshop of the mind, where the formless is shaped, refined, and prepared to enter the world. The physical world is governed by laws, gravity, time, space, but in the realm of imagination there are no boundaries, there are no ceilings. Here, you can bend time, rewrite rules, create worlds. Here, you can see what has never been seen, and hear what no one else has dared to hear. Here, you can build your future, detail by detail, long before the world acknowledges it. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be disciplined. It must be focused. The wandering mind dreams, the disciplined mind designs. The greatest builders of history did not simply wish. They imagined with intensity, with direction, with purpose. They did not merely see castles in the sky. They laid out blueprints in their minds with such clarity, they could walk the halls before a brick was ever set. The most powerful force in the universe is an individual who has fully imagined what they will become. Because once you have truly seen yourself living your vision, once you have smelled it, felt it, experienced it in your mind, it becomes impossible to settle for anything less. The mind does not distinguish between vividly imagined reality and physical experience. What you imagine with belief becomes your internal truth, and your body, your words, your actions all begin to follow the vision that has been written into your inner world. Imagination gives birth to belief, and belief drives behavior, and behavior carves destiny. But it all begins in that invisible room, where your future waits for you to claim it. That workshop is yours, and yours alone. No one else can build there. No one else can enter. No one else can tell you what is possible within those walls. The more time you spend in that space, refining, building, daring to see more than the world allows, the more unstoppable you become. It is in that mental workshop that you rehearse your victories, confront your fears, rewrite your story. You begin with nothing but thought, and through the relentless use of imagination, that thought becomes a vision, and that vision becomes a mission, and that mission becomes a reality too vivid to be denied. Belief without action is a promise never kept, a seed never planted, a dream sentenced to die within the mind that conceived it. Belief may ignite the fire, but action is what feeds it. It is what gives belief its legs, its hands, its voice. Without action, belief is nothing but potential sitting still. True belief cannot remain still. It demands movement. It calls for proof. It must express itself through effort, through labor, through risk. When you truly believe in something, when your vision becomes your truth, your natural response is to act in alignment with that belief, to speak like it's real, to move like it's real, to sacrifice like it's already yours. Many people say they believe, but their steps betray them. They speak of goals, but their calendars are empty. They talk of change, but cling to habits that keep them stuck. Real belief cannot be faked. It is measured not in words, but in action. You can see it in the early mornings, the late nights, the sweat, the study, the consistency when no one is watching. You can see it in the way someone refuses to quit, not because they're fearless, but because belief has made the struggle worth it. You must surround your belief with action. That means building your days around your vision. It means structuring your life in a way that moves you closer to your aim, one decision at a time. Belief must be reflected in your priorities, your discipline, your associations, your routines. It cannot live only in your thoughts. It must be found in the very fabric of how you live. Action is the loudest language belief speaks. When you act, you announce to the world and to yourself that you are no longer negotiating with your dream, that you are not waiting for the right time, that you are not hoping to be rescued. You are declaring that this is the path, and you are the one who will walk it. Every great accomplishment was born from belief, yes, but only fulfilled by action. You can study the giants of history, the masters of invention, the builders of wealth, the pioneers of thought. What separates them from the millions who shared the same ideas, the same hopes, the same ambitions? It was the decision to act, and to act without waiting for everything to be perfect. You act because your belief demands it, not because the conditions are ideal, not because the fear is gone, not because success is guaranteed, but because inaction is a betrayal of the vision, because to delay is to weaken the fire, and because movement, any movement, however imperfect, is stronger than standing still in the shadow of your own potential. To surround your belief with action is to treat your vision as sacred, to make it real through repetition, to convert invisible thought into visible change. It is how you turn a decision into a destiny, a dream into something you can touch, hold, and live. Belief may begin as a spark, but it is persistence that turns it into a flame that no storm can extinguish. The first time you decide to believe, it feels powerful but fragile. It's new, untested, still finding its footing in the world. But belief that is tested and persists, that is belief transformed into something unbreakable, something eternal, something that no failure, no rejection, no delay can touch. Persistence is the proving ground of belief. Anyone can believe when the path is clear and the results come quickly. Anyone can speak of faith when the doors are opening and the world seems to smile in approval. But true belief is not revealed in moments of ease. It is revealed in the silence, in the waiting, in the setback. It is revealed when you fall to your knees, face the failure, and rise again with the same conviction, stronger, sharper, more refined. Every dream is tested, not once, not twice, but over and over again. The world asks, do you really want this? Not in words, but in obstacles, in delays, in detours that seem like dead ends. And with every test you are given a choice. Surrender or persist, doubt or deepen your belief, walk away or walk forward with heavier feet and a stronger will. Persistence is the grind that forges belief into steel. When you persist, you stop waiting for motivation. You stop needing outside approval. You move even when you're tired. You push even when you're discouraged. You show up even when the results are slow, not because it's easy, but because your belief has matured. It no longer needs perfect conditions to survive. It thrives in resistance. Each time you persist, your belief becomes more real. Each time you get back up, it gets louder. Each time you say no to quitting, your mind learns that belief is not a temporary emotion, but a permanent principle. You train yourself to keep going, to stay locked in, to honor the vision no matter what it costs. You build endurance, and that endurance becomes part of who you are. There is no substitute for persistence. Talent will fail without it. Intelligence will hesitate without it. Plans will fall apart in its absence. But with it, even the most unlikely dream can carve its way through the impossible. The world has no defense against a person who refuses to quit. Time bows to them. Resistance eventually breaks, and the results, though they may be delayed, become inevitable. Not because the path was easy, but because the belief was stronger than anything that stood in its way. Persistence does not make the journey painless. It makes the destination inevitable. It teaches you to carry the weight, to keep the pace, to find light in darkness. It makes belief battle-tested, hardened by adversity, and worthy of the dream it carries. It teaches you that belief is not a moment, but a commitment renewed every day, in every struggle, in every decision to continue despite every reason to stop. Belief is not a passive state. It is the driving force behind every extraordinary life. When you choose to believe as if anything is possible, you ignite a chain reaction: clarity of vision, unshakable faith, bold action, relentless persistence. You silence doubt, unleash imagination, and refuse to settle. This is how mountains are moved and legacies are built, not by chance, but by the decision to believe without limits and to act without hesitation. The impossible yields to those who never back down. Your future is waiting, not for permission, but for belief powerful enough to claim it.